Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Breckland Council's Cabinet meeting on Monday, the 9th of February. It's now come up to 9:30, so we'll commence today's business. We'll move straight on to item 1, which is minutes of the previous meeting held on Monday, the 12th of January, containing pages 4 to 12 of colleagues' agenda pack. Is everyone happy they're a true and accurate record?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Apologies for absence. I haven't got any apologies, but I am aware that Councillor Crane is running slightly late due to some traffic snarl up at the other side of Toffwood at Dereham. But any other apologies? No? Brilliant. So move to item 3, any urgent business? I'm not aware of any. Item 4, any declarations of interest? Do any members have any declarations of interest they wish to declare at any pertinent items of today's business? Please make me aware. Item 5, non-members wish to address the meeting. You are almost welcome on any item of today's business. Item 6, Chairman's announcements. Don't always use my prerogative to speak at this part, but I will today. So go on in, everyone. I just want to take a moment to talk about some of the positive work which Breckland continues to deliver in partnership when it comes to leisure provision across the district. In recent weeks, I've had the pleasure with the Chief Executive and senior colleagues of both officers and members to visit both Dereham and Waterworld in Thetford, meeting the teams on the ground and understanding the truly positive work that is taking place there. Our 2 leisure centres in Dereham and Thetford attract some 700,000 visitors per year. They provide swimming lessons, host both local clubs, and they provide sessions for vulnerable residents through those exercise referrals and low-intensity activities so important to our wider Inspiring Communities activity. They host a variety of events from boxing matches, President's Sporting Days, swimming galas, martial arts competitions, and so much more. All of the testament to the important work which takes place at our local leisure centres in our local communities. The 2 fantastic sites offer a range of facilities open to the public, including swimming pools, gyms, weight rooms, spin studios, sports halls, to name but a few. And the investment which we've made continues to ensure that these facilities are improved and expanded. Take the incredible new 3G pitch at Thetford, which represents over £700,000 worth of investment from partners and ourselves. As a result, we've seen the usage of this pitch increase by some 130% in the calendar year alone, with some months seeing 400% increases compared to the same month in the previous years. This is real testament to the success of partnership and ensuring that grassroots sports can go from strength to strength. Key investments further have included our energy efficiency and carbon reduction measures, with over 600 solar panels being installed at Dereham and 400 solar panels being installed at Thetford. A total investment of £625,000 plus the wider support around the Spools Swimming Fund, which was externally funded, to another 110,000. All of this funding in partnership, allowing us to reduce those energy provisions and ensure that these sites can go from strength to strength, reducing those overheads and ensuring these facilities are fit into the future. The positive working relationship with Parkwood Leisure and their continued investment has allowed these centres to benefit from increased facilities. We've now got new shower sites, both for the combination of Parkwood, and we've seen further match funding getting ready to take place later today. We've seen in the report in colleagues' agenda pack, there is the prospect of a new 3G pitch and facility in Attleborough, once again demonstrating that strong partnership approach and ensuring that grassroots sport is at the heart of everything we do in Breckland. This is something we should be all proud of. Leisure sometimes goes unnoticed, but this council is committed to making sure that leisure across the district is accessible to everybody and ensuring that it's linked to our Inspiring Communities programme, supporting some of our most vulnerable residents across our communities. Thank you very much. So move on to item 7, which is Breckland match funding. Councillor Ashby, to start, please.
Thank you, Leader. Good morning, everybody. I can tell you that in January last month, 82 residents were supported through the Household Support Fund, with a total of £6,000 being awarded. We've had 3 Spark Fund grants awarded. They are the Tumbler Hill Hub in Swaffham, where funding will support the delivery of weekly activities that promote well-being, build skills and strengthen community connections. This includes Grow Well, Eat Well, which improves food security through gardening and cooking, and Tumbler Inclusive Community Crafters, where residents share creative skills and raise funds for the hub. A new evening group, the Hack Shack, is also planned and will start once electricity is installed. Swaffham Men's Shed, and separately the Narborough History Society both separate Spark Fund applications. And funding will support activities and trips that help local men spend time together, reduce loneliness, make friends, and support each other through shared interests and hands-on activities. Also, the next Inspiring Communities Match Funding panel will take place later this month on the 24th. So I will have details of successful applications at the next Cabinet meeting, and applications for the next round of grants will be open until the 12th of March. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you, Tristan. Any questions, comments for that? Peter, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everybody. I'd just like to thank Councillor Ashby and the communities team again because they're continuing to support organisations. They're not just giving them funding and then leaving them alone. They're actually supporting them. And the Narborough Museum Men's Shed was a part of Narborough getting the Mindful Village status, and it's a big thing where it's helping residents with in some cases, their mental health and well-being. So there's continued support to help these organisations across Breckland be sustainable for the future is one big plus. So thanks to the team again.
Lovely, thanks, Peter. If there are no other questions, Councillor Clausen, over to you then, please, for update on funding.
Yes, I'm pleased to provide an update on the ongoing support Breckland Council has been able to offer to our local businesses and communities through funding from our allocation of the UK Shared Prosperity Fund and Rural England Prosperity Fund. Some of these, which I'm sharing with you today, are working their way through the final stages of the decision-making call-in process. Our grants are helping communities deliver real, on-the-ground improvements, from enhancing local amenities to increasing engagement. This support is making a visible difference across the district. Over £50,000 invested is enabling us to support Fox Club Mencap in Thetford with a sensory room, Merton Parish Council to rethatch the prominent bus shelter, the Digital and Creative Media Centre in Watton to progress detailed design work, enhancing safety with street lighting in Watton and further CCTV provision in Thetford, investing in the Thetford rickshaw and enabling youth provision across Breckland. We have supported a further 4 businesses with over £30,000 to take on vacant high street properties through the Reopen scheme, enabling entrepreneurs to start up or expand their business and ensure our towns are thriving by filling empty commercial space. Here we have been supporting Amiria Floral Design in Attleborough, Inkaroo Clothing, Tanning Studio and Courtyard Kitchen, all of which are in Swaffham. Our continued investment in local skills, increased employment opportunities and business growth includes £20,000 funds to support tourism in Breckland, training for our young people not in education, employment or training, expansion of our small business support scheme through the Federation of Small Businesses, supporting the Fox Inn in Garbersham with property improvements, and Remiston Hall with a commercial kitchen expansion. Finally, our shopfront repair and redecoration scheme has seen further match funding offers of over £6,000 to support local businesses and improve the appearance of High Street across the district, including Generations Hair and Rouge et Noir, both shops in Durham. Taken together, these investments demonstrate the Council's ongoing commitment to strengthening our communities, supporting local business and ensuring Breckland remains a vibrant and prosperous district. Thank you, Chairman.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Paul. Bill, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to congratulate both Councillor Ashby and Councillor Clausen and just reflect on what they announced this morning. It is great in these times of retrenchment for local government and times of very tough budgets that Breckland, through managing its resources extremely well, is still able to invest in small businesses, community hubs and its residents. And I think this is one of the key things about a local council, which is intricately bound into the communities it represents. I'm really proud of what Breckland has achieved over the last 50 years. Not all councils are the same, and I think that what we've just heard this morning does exemplify what we've achieved. And I do hope that when the government decides what local government reorganisation is going to look like, that they bear some of that in mind, and that we end up with sensible councils based on a reasonable geography that means that we are able to represent those in our local area, just as Breckland has demonstrated this morning that it continues to do.
Lovely, thanks, Bill. Councillor Cowan, please.
Thank you, Chairman. And if I can just nuance some of those points that have been made by fellow councillors. And firstly, though, on a very personal level, thank you very much for helping to preserve a very quaint little part of Breckland in Merton, a tiny little village with under 100 inhabitants probably now. But that little bus shelter on the green is quite important and historical importance. But beyond that, with my finance and benefits hat on, I think what we've seen and heard today is that Breckland is open for business. Breckland's business rate take last year, as you will see from the papers that will be coming before us regarding the budget, was over £8 million. And because of the business rate reset, that's been cut back to just over £4.5 million. Business rates for this council are fundamentally important, and this council supports business, supports entrepreneurial growth, as you've just heard. And it's only through sort of watering those green shoots of new business and enterprise that we can see and experience businesses growing and flourishing as they have been in Breckland in the 20-odd years that I've been a councillor, representing both residents and businesses. This council has been able to do that because we manage our finances soundly and professionally. We have a superb team here who are looking at ways to support and enhance the communities that we represent. And the report we've heard today, both from Councillor Ashby and Councillor Clausen, are doing just that. They're showing we put our money where our mouth is. We do, in fact, want to see growth. We do want to see success, and we applaud everyone who follows that path. So thank you, Chairman.
Lovely, thank you very much. Councillor Suggett, please.
Thank you. I think just to, every time we have these meetings, we come and say about all the various different things, what we've got, but I think it's really easy to miss how much that actually means. And through Paul's team, we've collated some of that information. And over the last year, well, since April 2025, with some of those grant schemes and some of the other wider schemes where we've supported the Boost scheme, the Go Digital scheme, the Safer Street Wardens, and some of the youth provision, that's total to about £820,000 that we've been spread across our market towns and some of the hinterlands around there. And that's £818,000, which has gone directly into those places, be it the businesses, the community groups, the individual residents that actually need that help and support. Speaking with all of the town councils of late for various different issues, it's really clear to see that from the town council's perspective, they've really got a strong desire to see things, further improvements and what have you happen in their towns. And Paul and myself, and we've been pleased to say that we've been working on a further grant scheme that we can look to offer through our town councils. There's still some more work to be done on that scheme and what that looks like, but at the moment we're looking at around a further £100,000 that we can share across our 5 market towns to do what they think would be the best thing to do in their spaces and community. It will be around enhancing community spaces, proper pride in place stuff, cultural, arts, heritage projects, those types of things, be it environmental incentives, community initiatives, but really down into the heart of the towns and those spaces where the businesses residents feel that the most benefit for that money is needed. So further details of that will come forward as and when we get them boxed off, but just to sort of bring that together, a further scheme coming forward to help those market towns. Thank you.
Brilliant, thanks, Sarah. Any other questions or comments under this item? No? Great, we'll move on to the next item on substantive business, which is item 8, the Attleborough 3G funding. Councillor Ashby to present, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. As you will all be aware, the exciting Attleborough Leisure project moved into delivery last year, which will see a much improved leisure offer at the site with improved access to community use. Alongside this, it has been identified that the site could also benefit from the delivery of a 3G football pitch. An agreement to progress this project was agreed at Council on the 6th of October 2022, and work has been ongoing ever since. A successful planning decision was received in October of last year, with work then commencing on a grant funding application to the Football Foundation. The total project cost is £1.5 million, which will see not only the pitch delivered, but also the conversion of the current Academy sixth form building to team and officials' changing rooms. I'm excited to be able to announce today that since writing this report, we have received a successful decision to our grant funding application, subject to review and acceptance of grant conditions. This will see £999,999 in Football Foundation grant funding secured as contribution towards the project. Partner funding of circa £450,000 has been secured via Section 106 funding, the Sapienta Education Trust contributions, UK Shared Prosperity funding and Attleborough Town Council contributions. This currently leaves a remaining funding gap of circa £50,000. Negotiations with the procured contractor remain ongoing to ensure every effort is made to reduce this funding gap. And the report before you looks to accept all grant funding following submission and successful outcome from the Football Foundation, application of up to £1 million, and set up the necessary budgets to spend and proceed with the delivery of the project via the Football Foundation framework. Secondly, to agree to delegate authority to accept the terms and conditions of the Football Foundation grant to the Executive Member for Leisure in consultation with the Assistant Director, Contract and Operations. And thirdly, agree a contribution of up to £50,000 from reserves to fund the remaining funding gap. Thank you, Leader.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments in relation to that? I've got Councillor Hewitt and then the Chairman of the Council, Councillor Taylor, please.
Thank you, Leader. Applying for grants on a national basis on that scale, Tristram, is no mean feat. Congratulations to you and to the team for seeing this project through to this stage. Phil mentioned earlier on we're open for business. It's very clear that we're open for leisure as well. Congratulations to you and the team.
Lovely. Councillor Taylor, please.
Thank you. On behalf of my hometown, I'd just like to say how wonderful it is to have 1.5 million invested into the town in the form of a 3G pitch that will complement the refurbishment of the leisure centre. So thanks to the team for all the hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to echo the comments. It's absolutely fantastic that we've got this £1 million grant, and I know how difficult it is to get, especially the really big grants. There's a national competition. All of the different councils across the country are all bidding in for this money, but once again, Breckland has won, and this is just fantastic. I know what a difference it's made at Thetford, where a similar project has been delivered, which I saw with my own eyes, and the huge amount of positive feedback from that. I think this is something that will be brilliant for Attleborough, and this is something that wouldn't have happened automatically. It's down to the hard work and tenacity of all of those involved with this project that we thought big, and we have been successful in getting the grant. So I congratulate everybody who's been involved.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Any further comments or questions? Councillor Ashby, if you want to move those recommendations, please.
I'd like to move the recommendations.
Lovely. All those in favour? Thank you very much. That's unanimous. So we'll move to item 9 then, which is disposal of car parks to Attleborough and Swaffham Town Councils. Councillor Paul Hewitt to present, please.
Thank you, Chair, colleagues, members. The report in front of you seeks Cabinet to approve the disposal of public car parks in Attleborough and Swaffham, including at an undervalue where there is a clear social, economic or community benefit, and to delegate authority to finalise the terms to myself in consultation with the Car Park Transfers Governance Board. Colleagues and members will recall that in January we agreed in principle the transfer of car parks to town councils, recognising that local control is the best way to ensure parking remains accessible, responsive and aligned with community needs, particularly as we prepare for local government reorganisation. Since that decision, further engagement has taken place, and I'm pleased to say that both Attleborough and Swaffham have reconsidered their earlier positions. Attleborough is now exploring taking on all of its public car parks, and Swaffham, subject to confirmation of its position in its full council meeting on Wednesday, have agreed to take on some of their car parks following a meeting with them last week. This demonstrates growing confidence in local ownership and a shared commitment to protecting community access. The legal and governance framework remains unchanged. These disposals can proceed under the General Disposal Consent Order of 2003, providing there is a clear, demonstrable community benefit and the undervalue remains within the £2 million threshold. Each town council has and will continue to provide a supporting statement to evidence this. Once transferred, town councils will take on all costs and responsibilities, while we will retain control of the CCTV to ensure continuity in tackling the fear of crime and antisocial behaviour. Subject to your approval today, we aim to complete all transfers within 10 weeks. Colleagues, the benefits of these disposals are clear. Local decision-making for local parking needs, continuity of service ahead of the LGR, and social, economic and community benefits aligned with our strategic priorities. But could I also make one request before seeking approval from Cabinet? If any town councillor in any one of our towns has misunderstood the process to date or wants clarification as to what we are actually proposing or suggesting, or further information relating to conversations previously held with our towns, they only have to ask. I would hate for an individual to post information on social media that either unwittingly or deliberately misrepresented the process in order to further their own particular opinions or ends, especially if they are hopelessly confused as to the process of the LGR or devolution or both. They only have to ask me or any one of the team here who have worked diligently through the last 18 months, and we would be happy to provide the facts. But back to the report before you. Chair, colleagues, members, this is a pragmatic and a community-focused proposal that strengthens local accountability and prepares us responsibly for the future governance landscape when those changes will take place. I move the recommendations as set out in the report, and I and the team are happy to take any questions that members might have.
Lovely, thank you, Paul. Any questions, comments in relation to this? Councillor Clark, the Chairman of Overview and Scrutiny, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Just like to make a comment related to what Councillor Hewitt's just said. As you know, that Scrutiny Commission, not only would we spend considerable time on LGR and devolution, but also the initial car park car park proposals as a principle, which is very well attended, a long debate, but also at the last scrutiny meeting when Councillor Hewitt presented the main substance of what we've got today. And again, completely open, transparent, and any opportunity for people to ask questions if people really want to know the detail and substance and are serious about taking this on. Thank you.
Lovely. Can I place my thanks on record, Councillor Clark, for your stewardship at Overview and Scrutiny, ensuring the scrutiny of this executive's direction of travel in disposal of car parks in the most appropriate way, working in partnership with our town councils, both through Paul and Sarah, but also the whole of the officer team, that these were options, and at no point was this a forced position, which I think you and your commission delved immensely deeply into to ensure what was the strategic requirements, but also what was our outcomes for our communities we were trying to derive from this decision. So thank you to you and your Commission's work for that. I've got Councillor Borrett, please.
Thank you. Much has been talked about devolution in Norfolk over the last few years, and I'm really pleased that apart from all the talk elsewhere, and we've actually been able to deliver some devolution here in Norfolk, in Breckland, that the opportunity for the town councils to have control and make the decisions about things which is closer to the residents, and actually giving up power and a responsibility or and assets and passing them to the councils nearest the residents is, for all the talk elsewhere, Breckland is delivering. Here, the councils are being asked if they want to take this responsibility on, and they don't have to, and they have chosen in these two cases, and I congratulate Attleborough and Swaffham for doing that. They've got an opportunity now to be responsive to the needs of the residents in their towns, and I'm sure that other towns will do it. But I think the key here is that Breckland is actually walking the walk, not just talking the talk, and I really support this. Congratulations to everybody involved.
Lovely, thanks, Bill. Councillor Suggett, please.
Thank you. Just in relation to Councillor Hewitt's point about the misinformation which is out there, I think bringing this report to Cabinet this morning to discuss just the potential change in mind of Swaffham and Attleborough just proves the point that this isn't something that we're forcing through. This isn't a motion of this council to force the town councils into taking on the car parks in their spaces. All 5 town councils have taken a slightly different approach. They've taken different options, different views to their options. Some have undertaken consultations. Some are working to do those consultations at different points throughout the process. Ralph and the team have committed to doing as much as they can to help the town councils, and that's been really appreciated from both the town council's point of view and our point of view. We appreciate that this is a massive ask of the town councils, and the fact that 2 of them have taken to come back to us, I think just proves the point that actually they are taking it really seriously. And it is a little bit of a shame where there is some misinformation which has gone out there from some town councils. There's a bit of a confusion, it seems, with LGR devolution, which time frame sits with what. We've been really clear throughout the whole process that we are not in control of that time frame and what dates come forward, but we do know we would like to work as quickly as possible with the town councils to make sure that whatever option they go for, we can make sure we get across the line. It is a big decision for the town councils to take, and I'm really pleased that we've been able to bring the report here to this Cabinet today to approve before those town councils have actually concretely made their minds up themselves. So it gives them the flexibility. As soon as we've done whatever decision they come back with, the team here and the town councils can all work as swiftly as possible to try and get handed over in whatever way possible or whichever way decided from those town councils. And as Councillor Hewitt said, the team have been open to questions, as have we, throughout this whole process, and we will continue to do so until this has finally gotten across the line. So thank you.
Lovely, thank you, Sarah. If there are no further questions or comments in relation to this, if you want to move those recommendations, please, Councillor Hewitt.
I move the recommendations 1 and 2, Chair.
Lovely, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. That's unanimous. So we'll move on to item 10 then, which is community asset transfer. Councillor Paul Hewitt to present, please.
Thank you, Sam. Chair, members, I am delighted to present a report today requesting Cabinet approval for our plans to transfer some of our low-value assets to those towns, villages and communities in whose locale those assets sit. The ambition behind the report before you today is about strengthening local democracy, empowering our communities and ensuring that Breckland's assets continue to serve the people who rely on them, not just now, but long into the future. As members and colleagues will know, Breckland District Council holds a wide and diverse estate. Some of these assets are part of the fabric of our towns and villages. They support services, they provide community value, and they contribute to the identity of the places that we represent. With local government reorganisation close on the horizon and the abolition of Breckland due in 2 years' time, it is vital that we take responsible, proactive decisions now about the future of those assets. We cannot allow uncertainty or bureaucracy to get in the way of what is right for our communities. That is why we've undertaken a comprehensive review of every asset that we hold to ensure that every single asset is properly understood, properly managed, and properly positioned for the future. Through this work, it has become very clear that some assets will deliver far greater value in the hands of our local town, parish councils, and community organisations than they ever could if retained by us and a new unitary council. Local ownership means local pride, local accountability, and local innovation. It means decisions being made by the people who know their communities and the assets that they see, enjoy, and use best. This is not about giving things away, and those community representatives who have spoken to us recently have been made clear of their rights and responsibilities for sustaining those assets transferred moving forwards. The approach in front of you now is about investing in the long-term social, economic, and environmental well-being of our communities within Breckland. Communities that will continue even though we will not. That sense of sustainable well-being and opportunity was clearly expressed by those attending the workshops where we shared our plans and our aspirations as to what a possible community asset transfer process might look like. And in this respect, the legislation is clear. Councils are permitted to dispose of assets at less than best consideration where doing so delivers demonstrable public benefit. And in many instances, the community value of some of the assets that we hold far outweighs the modest revenue or potential capital receipts that we might otherwise achieve. Colleagues, this approach aligns directly with our property strategy and with our wider political commitment to supporting thriving, resilient communities. It's about enabling local solutions, reducing unnecessary and central control, and ensuring assets are used productively rather than just sitting being unutilized. The recommendation, therefore, before Cabinet colleagues today is straightforward. To delegate authority to the Assistant Director of Property and Projects, working with myself as the Executive Member for Property, to approve disposals at an undervalue where the asset is valued at £10,000 or less and where there is a clear, demonstrable community benefit. This will allow us to act swiftly, transparently, and responsibly with proper governance through our property working group. The alternative, insisting on market value in every case, would tie the hands of our town and parish councils, limit community opportunities, and ultimately disadvantage the very residents that we are here to serve. That is not a position I believe we wish or want to take. We as a council, committed to working smarter and building sustainable, thriving communities. This proposal supports both of those priorities. It ensures that assets remain in productive use, valued by those who use and live with them, and ensuring that local town and parish councils are empowered, that communities have a real stake in shaping their own future. Chair, colleagues, this is a pragmatic, community-focused, and forward-looking decision. It is the right thing to do for our residents. It is the right thing to do for Breckland, and I therefore move the recommendation as set out in the report. Thank you all. I and the team who have worked so hard to make this happen are more than happy to take any questions you may have.
Lovely, thanks ever so much, Councillor. I'm just going to ask Zoe just to come in and just give an update on those two sessions she held with local parish, town councils and community groups over the previous week. Zoe, please.
Morning, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, we held two workshops, land management workshops, with regards to this report. One we held in Thetford and one here in Dereham. We felt that was the right thing to do in terms of location, to offer, that accessibility for those around the district. They were both very well attended, Dereham more so than Thetford, but we had a number of parish councils, clerks, chairmans and ward members. So thank you for those that you have attended. And, they were really engaged. They were really positive about the approach that we were taking and about securing their land in their parishes for their communities and the residents who live there. Many of them had numerous questions, understandably. This approach and transferring land can feel very complex and complicated for people. We understand that, especially for those that have not been through it with us before. And therefore, we supported them in those workshops, helped them, talk them through, what it would mean, how they would go about it, that we're here to support them all the way through the process. And a lot of them have gone away and are very keen to continue to work with us. And we certainly have already had some really key sort of requests and applications really for people who are actually wanting to take certain bits of land in their parish. So really, really good to have held those workshops, and we are not averse to holding any further sessions again, and we'll see how we move through the process with different parishes, what they need from us. We'll even sort of go to parish council meetings if that's required, but we will work very closely with them as we have on the car park work, to support them in any way we can. But so far, really, really positive. So thank you ever so much for everybody who's engaged with us so far.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Councillor Clark, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you, Councillor Hewitt, for the presentation. Just a couple of, one, first of all, a comment for a couple of questions. I support the principle outlined here, which is particularly good. Two questions, Paul. One is the £10,000 trigger. I assume that's for individual assets rather than cumulative. The second part of the question is, obviously, I'm not a town council, I haven't been involved with the local workshop, so this may well be a point that Zoe can cover off. When we're approaching town or parish councils, are they given a link to Breckland currently owned assets in their patch, or is there an actual schedule? I merely state that as a former town council, because I know sometimes some members of towns and parishes may be less curious than others in terms of opening up and saying, there's a place, we need to move quickly to secure this. We can only do our best to engage individual members and also towns and parishes. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yes, between Christmas and New Year, when we commenced this approach with the parish councils and ward members, we released an email to all parish clerks, and that had some information about this process and what we were embarking on, so that we could get everybody excited in terms of what we were looking to deliver. And on that original email, we did share the link to the My Maps programme that is available on our website and is available for all to view, so that everybody can see what Breckland Council owns in terms of its land holdings and what we're responsible for. And we did reiterate that at the workshops as well, and we will continue to do that because it's a really helpful tool just to go on there and see, what land in the communities is owned by us and managed by us, so that we can start those, those really exciting conversations with them around what land they would want to have control of and certainty of in the future.
And just, if I may, just to pick up on that, and for clarification, if any town or parish councillor is looking in and looking at my maps, don't forget, not all the land that we own is capable of being transferred over. Some land is strategically owned, some land has got planning permission extant, some land actually will have some other uses outside of being capable of being transferred. And some land, of course, is still quite valuable.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Wilkinson, please.
Thanks, Leader. I'm just wondering, the legal fees and anything like that, is that got to be covered by the town and parish councils, or is Breckland picking that up?
I can respond as outlined in the report. Legal fees are picked up by the parish council, yeah, which is only right and fair to do.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Kyburn and then Councillor Borrett, please.
Thank you, Chairman. These transfers can continue up until a vesting date into new unitaries, is that correct?
I'll be quite clear before I maybe pass over for a little bit more of a technical answer. Your guess is as good as mine. We never know when that guillotine might come down, but I might pass over a bit more of a technical answer from Zoe.
This obviously work is obviously really related to LGR, as we know, and we are really keen to transfer land to those that would like it in their parishes, and we're keen to do that as soon as possible. We don't know what that timescale looks like yet in terms of when we will be advised that we can't transfer any further assets out of Breckland Council. So hence why we are working at pace and wanting to accelerate this work as quickly as we can, so that parishes, you know, we're not in the middle of a transaction and then we're not able to complete it. So we are encouraging all parish councils and town councils to work with us as quickly as we can, so that we can make sure that those land transactions are completed as soon as they can, so you've got that control and certainty going forward.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Carbon. Actually, probably a bit to the previous item where there is still some confusion circulating within the community, which is understandable because there's confusion circulating in Westminster and Whitehall about the future of local government reorganisation and devolution. To confirm, Norfolk and Suffolk's devolution deal has been pushed back to May 2028. That's the current timeline. That may change. Local government reorganisation is still very much on the Secretary of State's desk, and we're expecting that announcement to be made in March of this year, and that will set out the position of a decision for 1, 2 or 3 authorities, and then following that the statutory instrument will then land, which will then set the timetable for the Section 34, which will preclude any further financial implications to the authorities unless it's deemed as a statutory service provision. That's why through Councillor Hewitt's stewardship and Zoe and the team, this is so important and prevalent to make sure that, I believe with good intention, if those conversations are well advanced with parish, town councils and community groups on the transfer, that we have good grounds to continue that even up to the point of when that Section 34 is served, because we're already in train. So that's why the work is important, and as Zoe said, we'd implore everybody to, if they haven't already, engage with the team as quickly as possible. Councillor Borrett, please.
Thank you. Breckland is nothing if not consistent, and as we had in the issue of car parks, the opportunity here for parishes and towns to take over smaller assets in their patches from Breckland now, before the deadline of local government reorganisation, I think is absolutely what Breckland's commitment has been. I have discussed this at the parishes in my own ward, and the feedback has been very positive. And the very fact that the parishes are in total control, they don't have to engage with this process if they don't want to. If they're interested, they can express interest, and if they're very keen, they can engage far more in far more depth than perhaps other parishes have not. And I have to say, there's a parish in my ward where there is no Breckland land, and therefore there is nothing for them to be gained by it, so they obviously won't be partaking in this. But the emails that came out to the town and parish clerks with the interactive map on it has been very well received, and you know, therefore the power is all in the hand of the town and parish councils to decide whether this project interests them, and if it does, what they want to do about it. So again, I go back to my comments to the previous item. You know, Breckland really is delivering devolution here. This isn't, we're going to tell you what to do. This is, if you want it, there are opportunities here for you, and if you don't have to do it. And you know, that's everything I think Breckland stands for, and I really support this.
Brilliant, thank you. Any further questions or comments? If not, if you want to move that recommendation, please, Paul.
I move the recommendation, Chair.
Lovely, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. So we'll move to the next item on substantive business today, item 11, the Budget Medium-Term Plan and Capital Strategy. Councillor Phil Cowan to present, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Colleagues, I'm delighted to present to you our proposals for a balanced budget. Moreover, a balanced budget for the next 2 years. The proposal we have before us are broadly the same as those that we discussed at Cabinet prior to the formal budget consultation that was undertaken at the end of 2024, and the draft proposals were also presented, debated and, dare I say, agreed at the January meeting of the Overview and Scrutiny Commission. This is a draft budget that is both a response to our corporate priorities and a reflection of the 3-year government settlement, although given the 11th hour changes proposed to the settlement last week, this latter component may need to be varied to reflect those changes. We will, I believe, learn more later today. Breckland Council, your council, prides itself on providing all of the statutory services that we are required to undertake, and also those discretionary services that we believe are essential for the health and well-being of our residents and businesses, at the lowest possible cost to the taxpayer in Breckland, giving best value for money without stinting on quality. And these proposals continue this theme, a theme that has seen the district flourish over the past quarter of a century. Our commitment to both residents and businesses within the district has seen us weather the storm of COVID, has seen improvements in our historic market towns, has enabled us to provide much needed accommodation for those less fortunate and vulnerable, has funded investment in energy saving measures in our leisure centres to make them more sustainable, has enabled us to provide essential training to our communities in suicide awareness and mental health challenges, has allowed us to provide investment to enhance sporting facilities with 3G pitches, and much, much more. This draft budget allows us to continue down this path, despite government's failure to recognise the cost to large rural authorities to deliver the services required of us, through, for example, a reduction in the Rural Services Delivery Grant, the business rate reset that will shave close on £4 million from our receipts, the lack of new burdens funding to support the rollout of domestic food waste collection, and the significant cost borne by the local taxpayer to prepare for local government reorganisation. Some may say that we are fortunate that we can continue to deliver the services referred to, but I have to say that fortune has nothing to do with it. We are able to meet our obligations because we have pursued a rigorous programme of sound financial management, efficient use of resources, a workforce that is able to respond to changes in working practice, and an overarching desire by all at Team Breckland to do right by the residents that we serve. So what does that mean in practice? The settlement assumes that council tax will be increased by the maximum allowed without the need for a referendum. And thus the draft budget before us today reflects that assumption, and the proposal is that the Band D rate be increased by £4.95 per annum, giving a figure for a Band D property of £123.48 per year. This means that a Band D household pays just less than £2.40, the price of 2 Mars bars, a week to Breckland Council for all of the services we provide. And remember, 3/4 of residents in Breckland live in properties banded A to C and therefore pay less. So the recommendations before us today are made to full council and are as follows. 1, that the Breckland revenue estimates and parish special expenses for 2026-27 and outline position through to 2029-30, as set out in Appendix B and E, are approved. 2, that the capital estimates and associated funding for 2026-2027 and outline position through to 2035-36, as set out in Appendix H, are approved. 3, that the fees and charges shown in Appendix D and D1 for adoption on 1st of April 2026 are approved. 4, that the council tax is set at £123.48 for a Band D property in 2026 to 2027. This is a £4.95 per annum increase on current levels. 5, that the medium-term financial plan at Appendix A is approved. 6, that the capital strategy at Appendix G is approved. 7, that with effect from the 1st of April 2027 or later, the Second Homes Council tax premium may be applied. 8, that delegated authority is given to the Chief Executive and Leader to allocate funding within the LGR reserve. And 9, that the delegated authority is given to the Chief Executive and Leader to allocate the 2025 to 2026 outturn balance. Colleagues, there is much detail in the papers before us today that underpins my commentary, and I am indebted to all in the finance team who have worked diligently alongside Team Breckland to prepare this draft budget. If there are any questions, I'm sure that either I or our 151 officer, Alison Chubbuck, will be able to furnish you with an answer. Thank you, Chairman.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed, Phil. Any questions, comments in relation to this? I've got Councillor Clark and then Councillor Khyber, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Councillor Cowan. Phil, just one small question. It refers to one line that you mentioned in your report, and obviously usual tributes to yourself and the finance team. One line in there is about the second homes charge. You said it may be implemented in 2027. I just wondered what the criteria or the trigger might be for that implementation. Thank you.
At the moment, Councillor, there is no trigger. We have merely kept it in as an option to be considered by this council should the need arise for whatever reason. As you will be aware, government gave district councils the ability to be able to levy 100% surcharge on second homes. We took the decision in Breckland, where we have very few second homes, that should not be applied. But we've reserved the right to do so should it be needed. We believe very firmly that second homes are an important aspect of life in Breckland. People who own second homes in Breckland bring in funds to the economy local to our district. It helps to preserve the character and content and scope of our district. Very important part of what we do here. Leisure and hospitality and tourism are vital to this economy as much as the manufacturing, as much as the agricultural economy. Thank you, Chair.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Khyber, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Under 112, this new 15% relief for eligible pubs, is that something the government is going to directly fund, or is it just we've got to fund it because we're going to get less money from that sector? Thank you.
I'm going to pass the detail over to Alison, but my understanding is that any relief of this type, such as we've had in the past, is actually funded to us by central government. But Alison will be able to nuance that, I'm sure.
Just to say that is correct.
Lovely. Was there a second question, Councillor Khyber? No. Councillor Hewitt, please.
Thank you, Chair. Phil, congratulations to you and the team for delivering what is almost a miraculous but fantastic balanced medium-term financial plan and budget under the most ridiculous of national circumstances. I mean, you refer to the central government settlement only being announced within the last few days. I mean, the ability to make any type of long-term plan under this type of chaotic short-term nature of central government announcements is absurd. You refer to some of the real challenges in terms of business rate reset and so on and so forth. I mean, the difficulties in making assumptions where we just can't plan for changes that are raised centrally, and a government seems to be focused on towns rather than rural communities, just strikes me as absurd. And combined with that, the anarchy of social media combined with the willful ignorance of those who contribute to it just means that no matter what we do or what we say will be abused and misrepresented moving forwards. But despite all of this, you have managed to produce, and your team have managed to produce, a balanced budget for now at least, until the government change the rules again, probably over the next couple of days. But right now it does deliver a sustainable ability for us to do what we must do and to do what we choose to do in order for our residents and our businesses to thrive. So congratulations. Congratulations to you and the team for putting out this budget. Let's hope it gets passed to full council.
Councillor Borrett, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's a long and technical paper, but I am really pleased to see that Breckland is still going to be the lowest district council tax in England. And that is a huge, huge achievement for this council. We are still going to have no external debt. We are still going to be producing more money from our commercial portfolio than we are taking out of the pockets of our residents from council tax. These all represent huge achievements for Breckland, and it just goes to show, as I did say earlier, that not all councils are the same. That we have a balanced budget, that we're able to do this despite the fact that the government pre-announced our council tax by saying Breckland is having X much money from the central government, and including a council tax assessment that we will put council tax up by the full amount. But we're still the cheapest council tax for any district council in the whole of England, and we still spend just as much and invest in our residents and our communities as any other council. It's not that you get shortchanged by Breckland, as we've demonstrated with all of the items that have come to us this morning. Breckland is still punching above its weight compared to other councils of its size, and I look forward to at full council to sharing the good news with the rest of the members. Thank you very much indeed.
Lovely, thanks, Bill. Any other questions, comments in relation to budget for today? No. Our colleagues happy if Councillor Cowan moves those 9 recommendations in block? Yep, Councillor Cowan then, please.
Move those recommendations, Chairman.
Lovely, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much, that's unanimous. So move to item 12, which is the Quarter 3 2025-2026 Finance Performance and Projects Report. Councillor Webb is going to start on this item, please. Alison.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, everybody. I'm pleased to present to committee today the Quarter 3 Finance Performance and Project Report. Just as a reminder, this report covers the period between October to December 2025. A summary for each area will be given, and I'm starting with the performance. In Quarter 3, the majority of our key performance indicators are in or near target. Firstly, I want to touch on customer contact. I spoke last quarter about the challenging period the contact centre was going through and how this would have a knock-on impact for our customer satisfaction score. I am very pleased to report that we've now seen an improvement in this area across Quarter 3, notably in December, where we recorded our highest month since April 2025. The team is focused as ever in ensuring this indicator remains as high as possible, but also ensuring that we don't dip again like earlier last year. The other element I want to draw your attention to are the Freedom of Information FOI responses within timescale. This has been a strong area for the council, and compared to other councils still is, despite the challenging quarter. While staff sickness has impacted this, we have seen increased complexity in the types of requests and appeals the council receives. I know previously there's been debate about prioritising certain types of FOIs above others when it comes to, as if it's from a resident or from a national business. But the rules around FOIs are very clear, and we must treat each request equally. To counter this, the Council is reviewing frequently received FOIs to see if we can add more information online in order to provide applicants with this information up front rather than them raising an FOI. This will also ease pressure on council resources as I must put out to you that the context, the office has responded to 152 FOIs in the last quarter, which is a lot. And some of them, I will say, were quite complicated and take time to do. So I am going to give a bit of additional information as well, which you might find helpful. The highest number from one person was 7. 18 were not our responsibility. They were in NCCs or West Norfolk, and 8 related to one single location, but sometimes happen when there's like planning permission coming up, which is a bit controversial. So that does give a bit of context into what we're talking about here. All these things take time. The officers spend a vast amount of time trying to provide the information. So the more information we can provide up front, that's what we need to be doing. Thank you very much. I will now hand over to Councillor Hewitt to provide an overview of projects.
Thank you, Councillor Webb. The projects part of this report covers the position of the Council's high priority projects at the end of Q3. As you will see from the appendices within the report, our programme of high priority projects is in a strong position with the majority of projects in green and progressing as planned. In Q3, we completed and formally closed a number of projects that provided substantial value to the Council by strengthening our operational effectiveness and in turn delivering positive and measurable benefits for the residents that we serve. This includes the Attleborough Leisure Project, with site works now well underway, creating new and improved facilities to support the growth and the ambition of the town. And as you heard my colleague, Councillor Tristram, earlier on, we are building on this ambition quite literally with the addition of a brand new 3G football pitch. This follows on from the successful completion of the 3G pitch in Thetford, which has seen participation increase by over 260% of that facility. Unlocking and delivering such projects plays such a key role in improving the physical and mental health of our residents. And Leader, as you mentioned earlier on, it also enhances our overall leisure offering that makes sure that all residents have got access to facilities wherever they might need them, and all residents can therefore thrive moving forwards. Earlier this year, you also saw that we completed and formally closed the secondary phase of our property purchases to support the growing demand of temporary housing, and in the finance section of the support, you note the cost benefits from delivering such projects that are now becoming apparent. Not only did this particular project come in under budget, but it also exceeded by 10% the volume of properties purchased. And to build on this further, not only have we now produced a net saving of over £300,000, we are shifting our focus and creating a new project to provide housing and support to young people as they leave the care system. These, again, allow our residents to thrive. These are just some of the ambitious and impactful projects this Council is committed to delivering, Chair. Thank you, and I'll now pass over to Councillor Karen to provide an overview of finance as at Q3.
Thank you, Paul. And if we look at Appendix C, you can see there two things. One, a summary, and supported in that summary are the details of the various pros and cons, pluses and minuses that actually go together to deliver that summary. I think it's very important to recognise that we're in a state of significant flux and change as far as local government is concerned, and particularly planning. You'll recall that earlier in the year, our planning service was seeing a huge reduction in some of our major planning applications, which saw us take a significant hit in our planning fee income. And you can see now, when you look at the detail here, that that trend has reversed significantly, and we have seen a significant contribution to finance from planning services. Similarly, you will also see that we've we've been able to take advantage, as I've said many times in this forum, through our careful management of our financial resources, the investment opportunity that the higher level of interest that is paid on deposits has enabled us to see and maintain a high level of income through our finance portfolio alone. That's not to say that there are some negatives, and they are clearly outlined in the report before us. But the bottom line, and I think this is the significant thing, the bottom line is when we look at Table 1, the forecast revenue outturn, it's showing us a contribution of £657,000 to this council as a consequence of various actions that we have taken, that have been taken advantage of by those outside of this council, as I've mentioned, in terms of planning applications and so on. So this is a good report. It shows this council is able to deliver what we want to deliver. It shows that we are financially sound and stable, and I commend it to you. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, you three, for those updates on the Q3. Any questions or comments in relation to these? This is just for noting, but no questions or comments. Thank you very much. So move to item 13, date of the next meeting. Date of next meeting is here on Monday the 23rd of March 2026 at 9:30.